Thank you for joining me once again. This is my update for the 13th of November 2025. Following up with the update I made yesterday regarding the corruption scandal that is currently taking place in Ukraine involving Zelensky, his top ministers, and a few businessmen in Ukraine. I remember saying in that update that I suspected the United States was beginning to seek regime change in Ukraine, or perhaps they are looking for a way to push Zelensky out of the picture. Even the Times New York floated the idea that Zelensky's authority had completely faded away because of his involvement in this corruption that is taking place in Ukraine and being investigated by the NBU. New update came up today, the 13th of November 2025, and there are rumors floating all over the place that Zelensky could be forced to resign as the leader of Ukraine because of, or as a result of his involvement in this investigation that is taking place, this corruption investigation that is taking place in Ukraine. Zelensky is now facing a lot of pressure and serious questions. Serious questions need to be answered. All of his business associates, his allies, and his close friends are also being targeted. Two of them already fled the country. Mindich ran away from the country to Israel, and the other guy, I forgot his name, that one took off to Turkey. So the two top men that are in the middle of these anti-corruption charges, where multi-hundreds of millions have been embezzled, had all fled the country. The unlucky one, like the energy minister and a few other ministers have been arrested and they've been questioned. They've been questioned at the moment. A full-scale conflict or a full-scale war is bound to break out between the anti-corruption agency and Zelensky's inner circle, because a lot more people could be named and mentioned in this scandal sooner than later, and the consequences are going to be greater than what we ever think. It is going to be brutal. So these men, sooner than later, they will start planning something against the anti-corruption agency, and that is a fact. The other fear, though, is that Russia had not bombarded Ukraine for nearly over a week now. The last time Russia launched any major missile or drone attack all over the territories of Ukraine was about 7 to 8 days ago. Everything happening right now seems to be interconnected with each other. Now, I couldn't guarantee that, but I suspect everything has to do with each other. Has somebody reassured Vladimir Putin that Zelensky will be taken out of the picture? Or is Russia just holding back to see how Zelensky and his administration self-destruct? Those are very important questions. Or is the West and Ukraine just making all of these noises to distract Russia while they are repairing and reinforcing their defenses? Knowing that Russia would not attack while Ukraine and themselves carry out all of this investigation. Now, I'm just thinking outside the box as usual, because these questions need to be asked. You cannot trust the people Russia is dealing with. You cannot trust NATO. You cannot trust the West. You cannot trust the EU. They will do anything to make anything happen. So these questions I've just asked are legitimate questions. There might not be a true answer or a correct answer to them, but it is question worth asking. And first of all, the capital city of Ukraine, Kyiv, is completely in blackout, total blackout. Every single region and suburb of the city is in darkness. With the amount of money invested in this Ukraine war and in the capital city itself, there should not be a blackout in the capital city of Ukraine. things should have been fixed quickly or restored or kind of mended by now, given the fact that a lot of billions, multi-billions had been invested in that capital city. Secondly, Kupiansk and Pokrov is lost. That is completely gone. Soldiers are surrendering to Russia in hundreds. In numbers. Infrastructures are all destroyed, and hundreds of thousands of soldiers are all deserting the front line, running away because they don't have weapons to fight with, they don't have medicine, they don't have food, they cannot rotate because Russia are literally blocked off exit and entry into the eastern part of Ukraine. Number three, and thirdly, Russia had already taken half of Kherson at the moment, and they had also forced the Ukrainian forces to fall back from Zaporizhia region. Odessa is currently under heavy bombardment by Russia. Everything happening right now is completely against NATO, against Ukraine, and against every single country involved in this war against Russia. And Russia is at the top of their game. This is not something we have to exaggerate or have to lie about. You all know what is going on right now. So, could these three reasons be the reason why the independent anti-corruption agencies started investigating Zelensky and his people and his close associates and his ministers? Could that be the reason why? All of this have been happening for years and years, but nobody stood up against Zelensky. Nobody investigated Zelensky. A couple of months ago, Zelensky tried to cancel the anti-corruption agencies because he knew what is going to come. He knew at some point all of these skeleton in their closet is going to be dragged out. So he tried to cancel the anti-corruption agent, but that did not work. That went really wrong for him. So what happened now? How come all of a sudden they are investigating Zelensky? What they should have done from the start? Or is it like I said from the beginning? It is a stage show by NATO, the West and the United States to slow down Russian bombardment of Ukraine so that they can repair and fix things or install their air defenses? What do you think? Because these are vital questions to ask, right? Everything happening seems to be happening on a straight line. But when it is too straight, if you followed this war closely, if you know the history and the behavior pattern of the West, of NATO and Ukraine, you would never trust anything you see until it happened. So for me, I'm thinking outside the box here. Everything I've just gave you is based on my own thought, on my own opinion. But I'm sure many of you watching this video right now would obviously agree with me in most of the things I've said, most of the questions I've asked. Are they doing this just to distract Russia or just to slow Russia down from bombarding Ukraine while they rebuild their defenses and install air defenses, knowing Russia would not attack them at this point? Or is this actually happening for real? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section.